Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, this video was supposed to be uploaded yesterday, but things came up and I was not able to do that. So, let's go ahead and talk about yesterday's video topic today, and that is the Phoenix Suns. Boys, their championship window has closed. I'm going to say that. I personally am not a believer in the Phoenix Suns, but the Phoenix Suns are a team that I think will try to keep at least their playoff hopes alive, and they are currently without Devin Booker. And let me tell you, without Devin Booker, the struggle is definitely fucking real. Okay, I'm just going to let you know. The struggle is definitely real in Phoenix without Devin Booker there to just score buckets for you at will. They are a team that I could see trading Jay Crowder and somebody else for a guy like Caris LeVert. They need points in the paint, and they're not getting it. Not out of DeAndre Ayton. They're relying on Mikal Bridges and Landry Shamet to take guys off the dribble, and it is not working. They are currently 27th in the NBA at 2-point percentage. So basically anything inside the 3-point line is not coming for them. There's a lot to unpack here, man. The first being that DeAndre Ayton is now the max contract guy. He's the guy you just paid an ass ton of money towards, and he's the guy that I feel like should be stepping up in this moment. I understand Chris Paul is a guy you look to immediately, but Chris Paul's, 37, almost 38, and how long can you ask Chris Paul to come out here and backpack your team? His shooting has fallen off a cliff this year. He's shooting 42% from the field. 39% from three is very good, but that's not what they need. And then on top of it, he's only scoring about 13 and a half points per game. And DeAndre Ayton has his games, man, where he comes out, he'll put up 30 points, grab you about 12 or 14 rebounds. Then he has other games where he plays like Miles Turner, where he's I'm going to score my 16 points or my 13 points, and I'm going to grab 6 rebounds. And maybe block a shot or two. You need more consistency out of DeAndre Ayton. I'm just going to say that, this is his time to shine. This is his time to show you why you paid him what you did, and I just don't know if we're going to get that. They have a very, very important stretch of games coming up here, and I don't think they're going to come out of it with a 500 record. Part of me is beginning to think that they need a desperation trade, whether it's trading Cameron Johnson for Kyle Kuzma, or trading Cameron Johnson to somebody, Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson for a guy like Caris LeVert, or Jay Crowder and somebody that's not Cameron Johnson for Caris LeVert, or Norman Powell's an option, OG Anunoby, if you can come up with a spicy package, that would be a very nice help. But they need somebody who's going to score around the basket, and I really think Caris LeVert is an ideal player for them. But I'm not sure if that's something they're going to be able to pull off, because I really don't know what they have that Cleveland would really want. Is Cleveland really even going to want to trade Caris LeVert? Are they thinking about extending him? Because they have a very, very solid roster, and Caris LeVert still plays a decent role on that roster. So, I don't know, man. It's just right now the Phoenix Suns have a lot of questions about them, and they're in a situation where I really wonder if they're going to try to even salvage this. Because DeAndre Ayton clearly doesn't want to be there. Devin Booker's injured. Cameron Payne's been injured. Cameron Johnson's been injured. Excuse me. So, they're dealing with injuries. And the worst part about the Devin Booker thing is, Devin Booker is going to be reevaluated at the end of January. So he's not going to play a single game in January. Devin Booker is done for the month of January. And, I think to myself, even after that, you don't know if he's going to be 100% to come back. And so now they're in, desperation mode to find somebody who's going to score around the basket for them. So, one move that I like to think about, which is obviously wishful thinking at best, is trading Chris Paul for a guy like D'Angelo Russell. Even though D'Angelo Russell is not much of an attack-the-basket guy, at least he's not afraid to shoot the basketball. And he's younger than Chris Paul as well, and Chris Paul would fit way better with the Minnesota Timberwolves than I think he does with Phoenix. At least Phoenix, when they get D'Angelo Russell, they can say, hey, come in and shoot the fucking ball. That's all we want you to do. Shoot the ball, score the ball, that's what we need. Because DeAndre Ayton is one of those guys that I'm I don't know if the pick and roll game is going to be the same with D'Angelo Russell, being that D'Angelo Russell doesn't really like to pass the ball. part of me wonders as well if that's just a situation of him not wanting to play for the Timberwolves anymore. But being that Minnesota's definitely going to be looking to unload him, being that they don't want to let him walk for nothing, I don't know if that's a possibility or if they even would be interested in doing that. But they need something, man. They really need something or someone to score around the basket. Maybe they pull off Cameron Johnson, trading him for, maybe 2 pieces if they could. I doubt it because his contract's so small. But, like, maybe you can pull off Cameron Johnson and Jay Crowder for 2 really good players, being that you're including Cameron Johnson in that. I don't know what a decent trade right now for the Phoenix Suns looks like, because, like, their defense is held up, to be honest. Like, their defense is held up, but their offense is falling off a cliff. And I think, they have a lot of times where, like, they'll pass the ball around and someone will dive to the basket and there's nothing there, so then they'll kick out to Landry Shamet or Mikal Bridges, and they're relying on these guys to take people off the dribble and get to the basket, and it's 50-50 at best if it's gonna, like, pan out or not. So I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I really think Phoenix is in a very weird situation where they've plateaued, to say the least. I think at this point, like, they peaked against Milwaukee in the finals, and since that, I just think their championship window is officially closed. They shelled out a lot of money for Devin Booker. They shelled out more money than they wanted to for DeAndre Ayton. Are they going to open up the checkbook for Cameron Johnson? I'm kind of starting to doubt it, which is why I think trading Cameron Johnson for a guy like Kyle Kuzma isn't the end of the world, mostly because Kyle Kuzma is making $13 million over the next 2 years. It's $13 million a year, which could possibly beat paying Cameron Johnson anywhere from like $20 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, 4 years. Let's say they offer Cam Johnson 4 years, $80 million. You can save $7 million a year by just trading him for Kyle Kuzma and getting kind of the same thing. Maybe not the defender, but Kyle Kuzma's playmaking's not the end of the world. It's not great. It's not horrendous either. He efficiency-wise is not exactly the guy you want him to be. He's about 43% from the field and like 32% from 3 or 35% from 3. The free throw percentage is like 73%. So, like, his shooting splits aren't elite, but, like, Kyle Kuzma at least adds a third option to that offense in the Devin Booker absence. And he's a guy also that I think could really thrive in what the Phoenix Suns are doing, being that Chris Paul is currently still their point guard and locked in for another 3 years to continue being their point guard. Do I think Chris Paul is going to serve out those 3 years? No. I think he's going to retire before then. But it's just the idea, man, like, the Phoenix Suns are definitely fighting an uphill battle at this point, and I really don't think they're going to come out of the other side of this as winners. The West has gotten too stacked. The East is too stacked. Their best chance to win a ring was against the Milwaukee Bucks, I think, 1 or 2 years ago now, and I feel like that window is officially closed. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. Helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.